Hi guys, welcome to day 7. So in this session we're going to create forms. So forms is a very important part in HTML. I already told you about a static and dynamic page, right? So the main difference between static and dynamic is, can you remember that? What is the difference between static and dynamic? Static means user can see whatever you have designed. So if you want to see from business view, so viewers can see what are all the products or what are all the service which business gives. Right? For example, any education institution, what are the courses they can afford. Okay, just listing out the thing is static. But in case of dynamic, there can be a registration form, there can be a login form. Okay, there will be a dashboard. So these are all example for dynamic. Okay, so today we're going to see forms. So in this form, we have several tags. Okay, I'm just giving you basic tag, okay, which is very simple and which is very easy to start up your form. Form tag starts with form, F-O-R-M, right? So form have different attributes. So attributes means we didn't see any attributes yet. It seems, yes, we have seen a, href, right? A is the anchor tag and href is link, which we going to link, right? Link into our web page. So this is attribute, right? This is tag name. So this attribute means set of rules which is added to this tag. For example, image is a tag, src is an attribute. Okay, we are giving some image link here, and height, H-E-I-G-H-T is equal to, we are giving some value. Okay, then width. These and all attributes, right? This and all attributes. This is tag name, right? So we have several attributes in case of form and its elements. Form and its elements. What is it? Form is a main tag. What are all the things I am going to give inside? Right? I am going to give input. Means this is form elements. Okay. In previous example, we have seen table. Right? So inside table, we had tr. Okay, and td. Right? So this and all elements, right? So now you can understand what is attribute, what is elements. Okay, why I am saying this now? You have just confused, right? So I may tell you this concept in previous class itself, but why I am telling now? You want to know what is tag and how it is used. Okay, now this is a time to learn about attributes. In form, attributes plays a very important role. Okay, basically you want to know how to use tags. While using tags, you don't forget to maintain open and close, right? So, and also you don't forget to give attributes, basic attributes, which I have shown here, like for A, for image, these and all attributes. So here this table tag also has attributes. What is that? We have seen that border, right? So this is attribute and its value. This is attribute value, right? So coming to the topic, so form is mainly used to collect data from users. I already told you some example like registration form, login form, right? So all these things are used to collect data from users. For presenting data, we can use normal tags which we have used earlier. The basic attribute for form is form space action. While submitting this form, what action should be taken? Right? So I want to give some link. Okay. So next important attribute is method. When moving on to dynamic pages, so this and all important. So method we have two types. One is post and another one is get. Right. So this post method is both post and get is used to send data from form to server. Right, we have already seen about client and server, right? So if you are creating a registration form, okay, name, class. If you are submitting this form, this data will be sent to the server to save in a database. Okay, so let me make it very clearly. See, I am just drawing an example form. For this, let me make like this drop down. Okay, so on this drop down we're going to give reading books, gardening. So inside this drop down, when I click on this arrow, one slide will come down. Okay, in that slide these things will be. So likes, what are the things they like food, dressing, games. Okay, this is a basic form. Here we have button, submit. Okay, then another button is for reset. Right, this reset is used for clearing all fields. Right, so okay, this is basic form which we going to create. For creating this form, we want to start form tag. Right, so this form tag open and it close with the closing tag. Method In method we have two options, post and get, and next one is action. Just the link we can give like .php, we can give like this. Still we have several attributes we rarely use. So we can use no validate. Okay, so here we can validate every field, right? So if I give no validate means it won't take any validation, right? So encryption type, while sending data or saving data, this encryption type is used. And we can give name for a form, right? So let me clear it and write clearly. So form tag attributes. So first one is method. So next one is action. Right. Next one is encryption type. Target, we can use no validate. These two are regularly used attribute and these three are rarely used attributes. So write here this post get. So post means we have created one form, no, before a few minutes. If I am filling that form and posting data to a server, okay, this method is used. Anyway, the data which is entered in the form should be saved in some database, right? Some basic database which is commonly used is MySQL, right? And we have SQL Server. So we have MongoDB. So we have several database types. So we can use MySQL also. Okay. So when data is sent from the form, it is saved in some database, right? So anyway, the data from form want to pass from browser to the server, right? So for this thing we are using this two method, post and get, right? By this name tells you are unable to assume that post is for posting data and get is for getting data, not like that, right? So both are used to send the data to the server, right? So post means it will send with more secured way when compared to get. Both are used to send data, but when compared to get, post is used to send it securely. And also the weight, I mean, I can send more data in post, right? In case of get, it is not that much secure to send more data. We can use for short data, but we are unable to send a huge data in case of get because of the security issue. The next one is action. After submitting this form, to which link that form should be linked to, Okay, so anyway, after clicking submit, something wants to happen to take this data to the server, or else validating the form. Validation means whether I have given name correctly, or email ID correctly, or mobile number correctly. So mobile number should be, as per Indian form, it should be 10 digits, right? We should not give 10 more than 10, right, or less than 10. So this is validation. Mail ID should be with the 3 part, right? So we want to have a name of the mail, and we should have @ symbol, right? So then the provider name, then the extension, right? So this was the form. We should give similar to this format, right? If I am giving like gmail.com simply, means it won't allow. Okay, this is because of validation concept. This can be done in JavaScript. While seeing JavaScript, we can cover that. Here we have another attribute is no validate. Whatever we have given in JavaScript for validation purpose, this no validate will don't validate anything, just it will post data to the server. Okay, I am not recommending you to send data from form without validating, and we are in the responsibility to collect data with validation. Okay, I strongly recommend validation. It's a very important part of a form. Here we have left 2 attributes. So one is encryption type and another one is target. So this 2 type of attributes is rarely used. Target is similar to action, but instead of this link, we are going to give underscore blank or underscore self. Okay, similar to that. What is underscore blank? This is not hyphen, this is underscore. What is underscore blank? When I click on submit, okay, we will get one success page, right? So we want to frame one success page after submitting the form. In action we will be giving success.php. After success submission, the page should be redirect to your data have been posted successfully, or your registration have been completed successfully. That page should be the next page, right? So if I am giving underscore blank, means that page will be opened as a new tab. The form will be in that page, but the success page will be opened in a blank page. Like suddenly it will open a new tab in your browser. But in case of underscore self, that page will be opened in the same page itself. That success page will be opened in this form page itself. Okay, that form page will go away. This success.html or success.php will come in front of the panel, right? So for this purpose, we are using underscore blank and self. The next one is encryption type. While submitting the form, what type of data is going to the server? So here we can mention like that. So I can mention like a multi-part form data, multi-part slash form data. It means we are sending data from form, right? So form hyphen data. Okay, let me move on to form elements. I hope you have basic idea what is form and its attributes. So this is very important part for moving on to dynamic web page. So make sure you understand each and every step. So form elements. So first one is input. Input is element which contain different types. Okay, type is equal to double quotes text. If I am using text here, that input box, this is input box. Okay, type text. It means this box only gets value in the form of text. We can use this for getting name, right? So something like first name, second name, and we can also use for getting some typed data, right? So this input tag have attribute name, type, main attribute. Okay, so we have another attribute is like ID is equal to some name. Okay, we can use class equal to class name, right? So this ID is for this. If I am using ID for this input box, means that ID is only assigned for this input box. There is a main common difference between ID and class. You have come across this sort of attributes many times. In CSS also, this ID and class makes very important role, right? This ID means this will be a single name. Okay, only for that particular element we are giving ID. For example, you will be having your registration ID, enrollment ID, administration ID, right? So that ID will be only for you. It is unable to use by any other, right? So that is the same example which is used to describe ID. So ID also the name which is given only for that element. It's not like name, we can tell it as ID. Okay, this class means I can use this class name for any other input elements. Okay, or any other elements I can use this class. As we have seen in some language class, and we will create one object and we can use class objects for n number of times for n number of usage, right? So similarly, this class name can be used as many times we want. Okay, but in case of ID, only once. Right, this is the main difference between ID and class. In CSS, ID is represented in hash and class is represented with a dot. Just take a note of it, but this is not applicable for this input type. Okay, we are not going to use this two symbol here, but for just reference purpose. While you seeing this a hash symbol and dot symbol, you should not get confused. Okay, this two thing is used in CSS, not in this form elements. Next attribute we can give is name equal to name. We can give any name for this text box. For example, I am going to use this text box for father name is father name. This name should be unique so that we won't get any confusions when collecting data from the form. Right? This name can be given for all elements, like we can also use this name attribute for form. Okay, we can use this ID and class also for form. We have seen some attributes for form, right? So we can use this name, class, ID also with those attributes. Right? So next one is input type equal to checkbox. You can notice that input is a single tag which contains n number of type attributes. Okay, I hope it will be around 10 to 12 type attributes. Okay, now we are seeing second attribute, that is checkbox. Okay, so checkbox, if I am giving checkbox, right, I can use like this: input type equal to checkbox right. Here we can give ID is equal to interests. Okay, we can use class also. Just for example, I am giving class interest. Then value is equal to I can give like drawing. Okay, we can use interest 1. So anyway, we're going to create 1 or 2 checkbox, right? So label. So label space, the attribute of label is for. Label means the title with this checkbox. If I am creating checkbox means, see here, after completing this, after executing this line, this input type line, so we will get one checkbox like this. So for what purpose this checkbox is used? We want to give some text here, no? For that purpose we are using label. So here I am going to give drawing. This is my label for this checkbox. Okay, for this checkbox. So this checkbox ID is interest 1. So I can use that ID, or I can use the name. If you are giving name for that input type means you can use that name. So for equal to, what is that ID name? This, right? Just close this tag and I'm giving drawing. We want to end this label. So again I am going to give here interest checkbox gardening. If I want to create this checkbox means I can go with input type is equal to, what is that? Checkbox. Okay, ID is equal to, we can give it as interest 2. class equal to, we can use same class name, class interest. Okay, value. So for what purpose this value is used? This is used for after submitting this form. While submitting this form, just we are clicking like this, right? So after clicking on submit button, okay, the value which is sent through that method, that is post and get, we have discussed before, right? So through that method, when the data is sent, that value, if you check this box, this drawing value is sent to the server. So for that purpose we are giving value. You can give drawing here and you can give value 0 here. So no problem at all. But while saving, this 0 will be saved, not this drawing. Okay, if this is for developers purpose, when clicking on that particular element, what data, what value should be sent to the server and it wants to be saved in a database. Right? So that is given inside this value. So my second checkbox is gardening. Close the input box. It is a single tag. Okay, input is single tag. So next one is we want to give label, right? So label for which checkbox? This interest 2. So in double quotes we want to give interest 2. Make sure this 2 are spelled correctly. Okay. Sometimes we miss the spelling so that it won't work. So in initial days we will be getting some confusions in this. So make sure to copy and paste this value so that you won't get any confusions. So here I am going to give gardening. So likewise you can create n number of checkbox, right, before sending it inside. So, right, similar to checkbox, we have another thing that was radio button. So same like this, just input, change only the type is equal to radio. Right? So similar to attributes which we have seen for checkbox, we have ID, just gender, ID, and class. We can use the same class interest also, because class can be used n number of times. If I am giving some styles or I am giving some data or rules for this class element, means it will be affected in all my form elements. For example, I have created checkbox. If I am using the same class for my form input type is equal to text box, means also all fields will be applied with the same thing which we have given inside this class, right? So ID, class we have given. Then the important thing which we want to use particularly for this radio is name. We can use for all tags, but this is main usage of radio. It means, for example, here I can give like gender, right? So this is like group name. Just I am grouping the thing. See, here I am going to give female male. So third gender. So we have this 3 types here. Okay, while selecting on female, this 2 should not be selected. After selecting this male, this selection should go away. Okay, but in case of in case of checkbox, you can check n number of things. If I am having 3 means I can check all 3. The main purpose of this radio button is check any one. Okay, while clicking on male, this should be go away. While clicking on another option, this should be go away. For this purpose, we just grouping this radios. Okay, grouping this radio buttons. For that purpose, we are using name equal to gender, right? For example, now I am going to use label for gender ID. Okay, this is female as per our example. I am closing this label. Then next one is input. Type is equal to same radio. ID is equal to gender ID 1. Okay, we can use class, and here name is equal to same name. Then only it will be grouped. Kindly note, the name should be same, right? This one and this one should be same. Then only it will be grouped. Okay. After that, I am going to give label for gender ID 1. Okay. Here male. Okay, here also we want to give name is equal to gender. Okay, we can give label as a third gender. Label for gender ID 2. Right? This is third gender. Here I am going to close the label. So after executing this code, this 3 will be shown, and it also grouped in the name of gender. Right? While sending data to server, I can simply use this name for sending data from this radio button. Still we have more elements for form. So as of today we have discussed a very few elements. So I am just winding up this session because you want to know how to use this small elements, right? So you just create a small form. Okay, this is task of the day. With a name, we can use input type is equal to text, right? So for gender, you can use input type is equal to radio, right? Again here you can use hobbies. Okay, in hobbies you just use checkbox. Use some more checkbox for showing hobbies. You just create a simple form, okay, and send it in a task section. So before this you want to start this form, okay, and you want to end this form, okay. Use the tags which I have mentioned. I didn't show you practically. I am making you to create it, okay. Create and upload it. Let me see in next session. Until then, it's Nithya signing off.